There's a moment in every man's life when the silence becomes louder than any argument. It doesn't happen suddenly. It doesn't come with a warning. It starts in the smallest ways, barely noticeable at first. A shift in her tone when she says, "I love you." A hesitation in her touch. A smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes, and you feel it even if you don't want to admit it. There's a part of you deep inside that senses the change, not because of paranoia, not because you're insecure, but because your intuition knows something your logic hasn't caught up to yet. You begin to notice things. She's not texting as much. She's laughing at jokes you didn't hear. She's smiling at her phone more than at you. You ask how her day was, and she shrugs. You go to kiss her, and she leans away just slightly. You sit next to her, but the emotional distance feels like miles. And yet, when you try to talk about it, she says, "I'm fine, you're overthinking, nothing's wrong." But you know better, because a man can feel when he's being replaced. Not in her bed, not yet, but in her mind. And long before a woman cheats with her body, she cheats with her attention, with her emotions, with her energy. This is the brutal truth most men don't want to face. Not because they're weak, but because they're in love. Because admitting it feels like betrayal. Because facing it means letting go of the illusion that everything is okay. But here's what Stoic men know. Truth hurts, but it heals. Pain stings, but it teaches. And clarity, true clarity, is worth more than comfort. So I'll tell you something. Most people won't. A woman who cheats always shows signs, not just obvious ones, not screaming matches or lipstick on collars, but subtle, quiet shifts in her psychology that reveal everything, if you know how to see. This video isn't about blaming women. It's not about pointing fingers or fueling rage. It's about understanding so you don't lose yourself, trying to hold on to someone who's already let go. It's about equipping you with insight, with awareness, with power. Because a man who understands female psychology, who recognizes the emotional clues most overlook, is a man who doesn't need to beg, plead, or chase. He observes, he evaluates, and if needed, he walks away with his dignity intact. We live in a world where men are taught to stay silent, to tough it out, to pretend like everything's fine. But silence doesn't make you strong. Awareness does, because emotional strength isn't about controlling her. It's about controlling yourself when the truth comes to light. It's about knowing that you are enough even if she fails to see it. So if you've ever caught yourself wondering, is she pulling away? Is there someone else? Am I just imagining this? This isn't paranoia. It's your gut telling you to pay attention. In this video, I'm going to show you 7 specific psychological signs that a woman is cheating or preparing to, not theories, not guesses, but real emotional patterns backed by what women won't admit, but always reveal in their actions. By the time you finish watching, you'll have the power to see what most men can't. And once you do, you'll never let yourself be blinded again. Because a Stoic man isn't afraid of losing her. He's only afraid of losing himself in the process. Now, lean in, stay focused, and let's break down the hidden truths you were never taught to see. Let's begin. Sign, Jez's British one. She becomes unusually secretive about small things. The subtle shift starts quietly, almost imperceptibly, a glance away when you ask about her day. The sudden habit of keeping her phone face down on the table, a slight hesitation before answering simple questions. These small, almost meaningless acts pile up like silent alarms ringing in your subconscious. She doesn't volunteer information anymore. The texts she used to show you with a smile now vanish before you can see. She becomes guarded with the smallest details. The names of people she met, where she's been, what she's doing. These aren't signs of mistrust in you. They're signs of mistrust in herself because her mind is juggling 2 realities and she's afraid one will collide with the other. This is the beginning of emotional separation, a protective shell she builds around the truth she can't yet face. A woman who cheats isn't cruel at first, she's conflicted. But this secrecy isn't about protecting you, it's about protecting her new hidden world. The quiet distance grows not from anger, but from a growing fear that the truth will shatter everything she's trying to keep balanced. Signed, thou intimacy shifts, and not just sexually. Intimacy is the invisible thread weaving two souls together. When that thread frays, it's rarely about physical distance alone. The real shift is in emotional availability. She may still lie beside you, but her eyes are elsewhere. She no longer shares her dreams, fears, or even the mundane details that once formed your connection. The laughter fades. The gentle touches become mechanical. Her warmth cools, leaving a void you can't fill no matter how hard you try. Intimacy is not just skin deep, it's the emotional investment in a shared world. And when she starts holding back her thoughts, shutting down conversations about feelings, or avoiding vulnerable moments, she is creating space for someone else in her heart. This shift is the silent unraveling of the bond you once had, and it's a warning sign not to be ignored. Emotional distance precedes physical distance, and when a woman cheats, her soul's allegiance has already moved. Sign number 3. She picks fights over nothing to justify distance. When love erodes anger, often takes its place. But the fights she picks now aren't about the issues. They're about creating a barrier. The sharp words, the cold silences, the sudden eruptions over trivial things. They serve a purpose beyond conflict. They become the fortress walls she erects to protect her growing emotional divide. Each fight pushes you further away, making the distance seem like your fault. This psychological strategy creates justification in her mind. If he is so difficult, then drifting away isn't betrayal, it's self-preservation. The woman who cheats doesn't want peace. She wants distance cloaked in the guise of conflict. If you listen closely, you'll hear a pattern of disengagement wrapped in hostility. These battles aren't about winning, they're about breaking the connection enough to make departure easier for her conscience. Sign 4. Her phone becomes a fortress. In the digital age, the phone is the modern-day confessional and secret keeper. When a woman's device turns into a fortress, passwords, changed notifications, are silenced and calls happen behind closed doors. It's a strong indicator that something has shifted. The phone is no longer a shared object. It's her private realm, a portal to a world where she keeps parts of herself hidden from you. This behavior goes beyond normal privacy. It's about protecting a secret narrative she's crafting away from your eyes. Trust means openness, but the moment transparency disappears, suspicion takes root. She's guarding not just messages, but the emotional energy she's redirecting elsewhere. The more she invests in secrecy, the deeper the betrayal runs beneath the surface. You're not just losing access to her phone, you're losing access to the authentic version of her sign, Demanka 5. She starts comparing you to other men. Comparisons are the weapons of emotional distancing. When she starts naming other men, whether friends, colleagues, or even past partners, it's rarely about admiration. It's about creating a narrative that justifies her emotional drift. Why can't you be more like him? Becomes a veiled accusation, a way to express dissatisfaction without direct confrontation. This mindset prepares her for someone else to fill the void you once occupied. She's mentally rehearsing a replacement, weighing qualities and measuring shortcomings. These comparisons chip away at your value in her eyes. Not because you've changed overnight, but because her heart is no longer fully invested in you. The comparison is a silent farewell, a signal that she's already imagining. A life where you're no longer the center. Sign shook 6. Her future plans don't include you. Words about tomorrow reveal the truth about today. When a woman who once dreamed with you starts speaking only in terms of I, it's a clear sign of emotional separation. The future she paints is a solo canvas. Trips, career, moves, even lifestyle changes. None of it includes your presence. This shift signals a profound detachment, as if she's mentally stepping out of the life you built together. A woman who loves you sees a shared path ahead. One who cheats begins walking alone. The exclusion from future plans is not always explicit. It's woven into casual statements and offhand remarks. This is the most painful sign because it confirms what your instincts have feared. She's already imagined a world where you are not part of her story. Sign the 7. Your energy no longer affects her mood. Once your presence was her emotional anchor. Your arrival sparked joy, comfort, and a sense of safety. But now, your energy is met with indifference or coldness. She no longer lights up at your voice or softens in your gaze. The emotional resonance you once shared is gone, replaced by emotional detachment that feels like an invisible wall. This numbness is a symptom of her divided heart. She's emotionally investing elsewhere, and the space you once occupied is slowly emptying. This silent withdrawal is more telling than words because it signals the deep erosion of connection. Your presence has become background noise to her, unfolding new emotional reality, and it's a sign that her loyalty has already shifted. As you watch these signs unfold, it's natural to feel a mix of pain, confusion, and even anger. But remember, understanding these subtle shifts is not about blame or punishment. It's about clarity, awareness, and taking control of your emotional reality. A man who masters Stoic insight doesn't react impulsively or lose himself in drama. Instead, he sees these signs as signals, opportunities to reflect deeply on the state of his relationships, his own worth, and the path forward. If you notice any of these signs, the most powerful step you can take is to confront your truth with courage. Engage in honest conversations, protect your boundaries, and above all, cultivate unwavering self-respect. Because no matter what a woman does, your value remains intact. It's your foundation for peace, strength, and authentic connection. If you found this insight valuable, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom and female psychology, explained with clarity and depth. Hit the like button to let me know you want more content like this, and share this video with any man who deserves to see the truth. Remember, the journey to becoming a high-value man is not about controlling others but mastering yourself, understanding, accepting, and growing stronger with every lesson life offers. Stay stoic, stay strong, and until next time, keep your mind clear and your heart unshakable.